Let's see here. Am I good? I think we are. I bring on. What's up, man?
What's up, bud?
Hey, man. Well, here we go.
You going
6:50.
live? Or we are live?
Oh yeah, we're live. And we've been live for about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So, Myrtle Beach, right? Or not Myrtle Beach, the Keys, Florida Keys, right?
I'm actually in Satellite Beach right now, which
Ooh.
is since I guess it's just north of West Palm Beach.
Let's see here, I think. And
Stu?
what's going on, Stu? So is it expensive over there where you're at? Like being the Keys and all that kind of stuff? I mean,
Well, the Keys is further south, but it's it's the rental's a little expensive, but everything else is pretty normal, I'd say. The food and everything else around here.
what's like the best thing to do in the Florida Keys? Because that is where you're at, right? It's where you hang out, where you go
That's
to.
not where I'm not there right now. No, I'm
But you're going.
I'm not going to the Keys.
Oh, okay.
Not this trip,
Oh, my
but
bad.
I do go to the Keys annually. I go there every year. So
Yeah.
this is just kind of a family thing. We came down here and we came down last weekend, so we've been here for about a week.
Ah.
But yeah, no, if you're talking about the Keys is fishing and relaxing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look at what Stu says. Trini is rubbing off on you, Big Joe. Now you're doing the traveling podcast. He's trying anything he can, Stu. He's trying anything he can. He doesn't realize that I am tight with that guy and it doesn't matter. And he's like, you know what? The hell with it. I'm doing some traveling. Trini wants to think he's the only one. Nope. The only difference now is we got to get him at a pool having some.
Only difference is that I stay in the country.
Yeah.
You like to go everywhere outside of the continental United States, but no, it's been a good time. It's been fun. Got a lot of we basically me and Missy bring the kids on a trip every year right around Halloween. So go to Hilton Head or come to Florida. I went to Disney last year. So
all right. Andreas, thank you for joining us, man. What's going on? Love y'all. Keep up the hustle. It is some hustle. It does take a little bit to do this. Joe cuts his vacation, a little short for an hour or so to help us out, and that's super cool. And then putting this thing together. It's a little bit of a got you, Deanna. Little bit of a challenge here and there, collecting photos and coming up with the whole order of things and all, but definitely worth it. And it is some hustle, but it's worth it. Now, Andreas, Andy, I want to thank you. Joe, check this out, man. Andy comes in with hobbies and they come to our golf tournament like the day before I put it out, man. Uncharacteristic of our Shields for Kids golf tournament. We had a team open up, so I put it out, and Andy comes down, man, and participates in the team, ultimately participates in the raffle. And so that was really cool, Andy. I appreciate you coming down and making that effort, man. He travels like, shoot, I don't know what it is from Houston, but it's a good little ways because he's not in Houston. He's like 3 hours, I think, and he's south, a little bit south of Houston. So
Andy's solid, man. Andy's always there.
Yeah, he is. And Audrey says, Andy's always supporting us, and he is here every week. And we appreciate you. We got Jody White tuning in from Louisiana. What's going on, Jody? I know got word, and you're going to see one of your Louisiana teammates on the show here in just a little bit, Jody. But it's pretty neat that these guys are, they're talking about coming up to the Keepers of the Peace tournament here in Waxahachie this upcoming year. We already put the date out, and I got some people who were asking about it. So it is pretty cool that, that we're already getting text messages on the tournament. And Joe, I know you get yours right after the tournament, or even during it, like, hey, dude, we're going to be here next year. So it just makes you feel good as a tournament coordinator to have people already interested and letting you know that they're going to be there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've actually got several teams already that have never been to St. Louis that have told me they're coming.
Awesome,
this
man.
upcoming year, which is pretty cool. So
Awesome.
that's the positive thing, or one of the positives with being able to lock down a date early, get that out there, and let people make their schedule. You get it out late, people may already have their schedule made up. So
yeah, that's what I'm doing this year. A little bit different, getting that tournament out. Well, I was fortunate, kind of like Jeff and you have as a tournament director. They like what you do. They have faith in you, and ultimately they give you those dates outside of the normal scheduling of other tournaments. They're like, hey man, we want you back. We get compliments all the time in Waxahachie on our tournament, on the guys, on the coaches. I mean, even the concession lady, really commented a lot on us as far as being, a great group of guys. So that's pretty cool, man.
That's because she cooked. I think she cooked what, like 135 pounds of chicken breast over the weekend.
Yeah.
For all those chicken breast sandwiches that you made.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm excited about that. Well, hey man, we are 7:02. We got let's see, we got Brandon West. Brandon says Joe's like a St. Louis mafia boss.
What's up, Brandon? I'm just north of Brandon right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really wouldn't mind going to Florida, man, for a tournament. I liked it down there. I like going to Florida. It's cool.
Well, you're in luck because they have a couple next year. There's going to be I think it's the Brian Aselton in Tampa, and then the John Scolo in West Palm Beach.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Brandon says, how's Texas? We're starting to get cool down here. It's starting to cool off a little bit. And so, I'm excited for it. When I was younger, I just wanted the heat, man. I like the sweat. I like the heat. I like working out outside. Now I'm a little older, and just a little older. And man, I'm looking forward to the winter. I don't know what the deal is, but I am. So it is. It's cooling down over here.
You got that pool heated? Did you tell me if you had that heated already?
Audrey told me we would go through like 2 tanks of propane to heat it, and we're starting to work that out to find out. I don't think it's 2 tanks, but it takes a bit to heat that thing. I got to start like a day and a half ahead of time. So but no, I definitely have to heat it to get in it. I'm not. What's that dude? That Navy SEAL that.
You're not Dan McIntyre with the polar plunge, man.
Oh, is Dan a Navy SEAL?
No, he just does that polar plunge every year.
He could have been a Navy SEAL. The way he likes getting in all that cold water.
You never know.
No, you never know. All right. Well, hey man, let's get this show on the road. We got our special guest in the background waiting to come on. So I'm excited about that, man. Let's get the show on the road. What do you say, Joe?
Let's do it.
All right, Deanna, let's hit it. All right, it's October 28th, and we are here for episode 39 and of the Police Softball Podcast. I'm excited because we get to recap the PS.com. If you don't know what that means, the policesoftball.com World Series recap is happening today. So we're excited to be able to do that. A lot of great information coming your way. Want to give a big shout out first to Stu, to Joelle, Andy, Jody, Brandon, and our Canadian connection tuning in. What's going on, Tyler? And Tyler says, how was the whiskey, Joe?
Tyler, to be honest, I haven't had a chance to try it yet because I've been moving since I got back from Vegas, and I'm not even in town. The bottle's sitting on my shelf at home. My plan is not this podcast, obviously, but my first one when I'm back in St. Louis. I'm going to have my first drink of it on the podcast. So.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, Tyler, he asked me about something he got from me with Wayne Gretzky. I don't think it's a whiskey. I think it is. And I told him I was waiting until he comes down. He told me he was going to come down. He's going to hang out at the house. And I told him we'd break bread and that bottle open when he gets here. So I'm excited about it. All right. So let's see here. We got Mark Jackson tuning in. What's up, Mark? Says, what's up, fellas? Going to make a golf tournament one of these days. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
I do want to do that. And we went in Waxahachie to go golf. So I found a cool little course over there. So that might be something we're going to do this year. I think Jeff, if I'm not mistaken, wanted to do something like that also with one of the tournaments. We'll find out here in just a little bit. All right. So first thing I want to do is just introduce myself real quickly. I am Trinidad. I am a United States Air Force veteran, 23-year law enforcement veteran, 2-time cancer survivor. I'm a franchise business owner of a business called Biotex. It's a crime and trauma scene cleaning company. We are in Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and in San Antonio, of course. And I'm the founder of a nonprofit called Shields for Kids, an organization of officers who go out and provide for kids in the community that are in need. We emphasize being on our own dime and on our own time to go out and show the community, and especially the kids in the community, just how much we care about them. I will say, though, Joe, we just had our golf tournament, and we're not on our own dime anymore. We got a lot of great sponsors. So I'm really excited to be able to have the support of the community behind us when it comes to Shields for Kids.
Very nice.
When it comes to softball, I am the coach of our SA Law softball team, a couple of national titles, a Chevy Wright Sportsman of the Year, Pat Hill Inspiration Award winner, the Texas Police Athletic Foundation, and then PS.com Hall of Fame inductee starting. Well, I am the second. I'm one of the second basemen for the Louisville Sluggers. I'm working on it. And then 2019 Outstanding Police Officer of the Community Award winner. Very proud of those things. My partner Joe's on board, and we'll bring up Joe's banner. Joe is the coach of the Missouri Lawmen. He is the director of the Show Me Classic over in St. Louis. And Joe, we got something new we're adding to the podcast when it comes to tournament kind of updates, just to let people know when the tournaments are coming up. So we'll highlight yours. He's a coach of the Louisville Sluggers Masters Division team and the East Conference Manager of the Year. He is my friend, and that was on there, but it's missing right now.
We took it off. I guess I'm no longer your friend. It's all good. It's all good. We'll see if you're second baseman after taking that off.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are. So that's who we are. One of the things I wanted to highlight today is it is Nationals First Responders Day. So want to, of course, be able to highlight the fact that we are celebrating that day today, kind of a special podcast. One of the things that, I don't know, Joe, if you know or not, but the history of National First Responders Day. Not sure if you're familiar with that or not.
I'm not.
Okay. So we are also an educational program. Andrew Collier, brother of Sean Collier, an officer killed during the Boston Marathon bombing, helped establish a day of recognition. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Tom Cotton, along with Representatives Mark Meadows, Michael Capuano, and Elijah Cummings, introduced a resolution to establish the National First Responders Day. It basically came out of that Boston Marathon bombing, and then ultimately they put it into into law. I think it was the bombing might have been around 13, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, and then I think it was in 17 that they actually passed that. So it's National First Responders Day. So thank you guys for all that you do. And, we talk about this. It's a day where, Joe, we get recognition, right? The community thanks us for our service. People appreciate us. And at the same time, we also think about, those first responders that paid that ultimate price. And of course, in our circuit, we had a loss. And I'm sure everybody knows. And if you don't know, we have Officer Tyler Timmons, who played for the Midwest Heat. And, we lost him here recently. That's a softball photo of him on the bench. And, this is what took place. People asked, and ultimately he ended up being during a traffic investigation for a stolen truck. He made his approach to the vehicle, and one of the occupants gunned him down. And he was airlifted to the hospital where he succumbed to his wounds. His killer was taken into custody at the scene. Officer Tyler Timmons spent 14 years of his life in law enforcement. He joined the Pontoon Beach Police Department in April of last year after proudly serving with 3 other agencies throughout Madison County, Illinois. Tyler comes from a law enforcement family. His wife, who he just married last month, is also a police officer. Tyler was remembered as the guy who could give the shirt off his back to anybody and would do anything he could to help people. He was 36 years old. This took place on August the 26th. And I want to tell you that, this is a show where we go to escape. We go to, to enjoy the game that we love amongst the people that we enjoy participating with. But we absolutely needed to recognize, Officer Tyler Timmons at this time. So if you don't mind, we'll have a few moments of silence in honor of Officer Timmons. Of course, our thoughts and our prayers go out to family, the coworkers, the department, the friends of Officer Timmons. One of the things, Joe, that I, during the research of, Officer Timmons' life and ultimately, the post and all, is I found an individual who does something extremely special. And that is this man here, and we'll bring it up here in just a second. It was a composite drawn of Tyler, of Officer Timmons. And this is by a guy named Johnny Castro. And I thought it was important to be able to highlight this, man. He's a police officer. He's a U.S. Army combat veteran. He's a portrait painter and does forensic composite. He's a forensic composite artist. And man, he came up with this rendition, and he does it for all officers and all actually first responders. So I thought it was just really neat that this officer goes out and does this for these families, man. And it's just amazing the work he does. If you go to his site or his Facebook page, man, you're really going to be impressed with what he does. And so I thanked him on his site. And I just think it was a really neat thing that this officer does. So I'm hoping to get him on our police or on our Keepers of the Peace podcast here sometime soon. It's really neat. I'm sure he does it for the families of the officer or the first responders that are fallen. So kudos to Johnny Castro for what he does, man. It's awesome. And then when it comes to what I wanted to do, so Dan Potter, he said, good evening, fellas. And if y'all know Dan already. So for us, Dan has, of course, he does these raffles. Whenever something like this happens, somebody gets into an accident, anything like that, Dan's one of the ones that steps up really quickly. Bat raffles, all kinds of different things. So he's already put on 3, and Joe, they've sold out quickly. I was so happy to see that. I mean, you would expect nothing less from our circuit, but man, it was just, 15 minutes, man, they were sold out.
Is he doing that on Facebook or?
Yeah. So he's got his code 3. Yeah. Okay. So he's so that's where he does it. And so it's awesome. And yeah, I wanted to do something special from our police softball podcast. So we've got a gun that I'm going to be raffling off, and it's going to be on our if you haven't been to our Keepers of the Peace Facebook, I'm sorry, not Keepers of the Peace, Trinidad Facebook page. That's where I'm going to do it. I'll share it, but the Trinidad Facebook page is where you're going to want to go to for this. And as soon as we get off this, it'll be tomorrow morning is what I'm going to do, because I've learned from Dan that you've got to really stay on top of these numbers as they come in. So I want to be able to be organized when we put it out, but it is, and I think Dan is going to bring it up here in just a second. We're going to be raffling off a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Easy 380. And I thought that'd be a good gun because it's something small enough that if, hey, man, you win it and your wife maybe doesn't have a gun that she can carry, it's a 380. Or if you got small hands like me, Joe, don't have a big hand like you, this gun is a good gun for me. But that's what we're going to be raffling off tomorrow. Again, Trinidad, and the proceeds will go to Officer Timmons' family. So let's see here. We got Bobby Rossberg saying, "What's up? What's up, Bobby? How you doing, man?" Dan Potter saying that West Palm is a great tournament. Let's see.
Hey, Trini, real quick. So to kind of follow what you're saying about your gun raffle that you're gonna put together for Tyler's family.
Yep.
We're Tyler, he played for Midwest Heat, He was a big part of their team. From what Dan says, he was always had a great attitude. He's while he lived in Illinois, worked in Illinois, it was directly across the river from St. Louis, and he was involved in the St. Louis softball scene. He played civvy ball from a team locally here, or not here because I'm not in St. Louis, but in St. Louis. I played league ball with him up at BMAC, where I hold my tournament, for a few years prior to him getting into law enforcement softball. Shane Monic came up with the idea as well of a raffle that we're going to hold here in St. Louis. It's gonna be a couple of TVs that we're going to purchase, and we're going to raffle those off, and all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, going to go to Tyler's family.
Awesome,
His
man.
wife.
Awesome, Joe. Awesome, Joe. Well, we didn't get a chance to talk. You're on vacation, and also I didn't know that you played that much or that had that kind of a connection with him, man. So sorry, man. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, that's great, man. Hey, here's our circuit coming through, and it's awesome, man. That's the thing. We can be on the field and be competitive. We can have different views, different opinions, but in the end, when it comes down to it, we're there for each other, and that's what matters in the end. So,
Makes you think about after those games sometimes, you're walking through the line after the game's over and you're getting everyone, high five, hug, that could be the last time that you see them, hug them, give them a high five. That was the case this year in Des Moines. Was the last time, that we played against them on the field, and, went through the line hugging everybody. And he didn't make it to Vegas because he had just gotten married. So that was the last time we were that we actually were on the field with them. So makes you think about that a little bit.
It may seem kind of corny, but when I'm with my team, I always talk about this at tournaments, and I always talk about not to forget to take in the moment when we're there, enjoy the lights, the sounds. Yes, of course, we're here to play ball, be competitive, but at the same time, don't forget to enjoy each other's company, because it can very easily be a situation like this where, we lose one of us and ultimately it's just not the same without them, So yeah, I do concentrate on that.
I also have all the details for the visitation of funeral service. If anyone's in the St. Louis area, it's just outside on the Illinois side of the river, but the visitation is going to be held on Monday, November 1st, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Gateway Convention Center, which is located in Collinsville, Illinois. The first responder walkthrough will begin at 6 p.m. On Monday. Funeral services will be conducted at 11 a.m. Tuesday at Gateway Convention Center. Pastor Jared Corazine will be handling the funeral, and then there'll be a private burial in Woodland Hill Cemetery in East Alton, Illinois.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that, Joe. Great information for people who can show up or who can make it over there. I know Eddie Castro puts, there's no tighter brotherhood than this, the police softball family. Forever grateful for each of you. Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we've got, all right, so we're going to bring on our guest. We got a few things that we're going to be talking about, but I don't want to leave them out when it comes to a few of these things. So we've got our guest, our special guest coming on, and that is Mr. Jeff Blair, the Swami. What's going on, man?
Hey, everything's good, guys. Thanks.
What's up, Jeff?
Yeah.
What's up with the hat, man?
Stool Pigeon. Stool Pigeon sent this to me. He's got some information.
Oh, man.
Are you going to share that info with us tonight?
I'm not sure if Trini's got the picture, but we, for the first time ever, the Stool Pigeon was captured on film in Las Vegas talking to one of his sources. I'm not sure if you got that photograph. Trini, do you have that photograph?
I don't.
I've seen it.
It was posted on the website. I think Joe knows what I'm talking about.
I've seen it. Okay.
All right. So one of his sources. You have not seen it, Trini?
No.
It's a good thing.
All right. All right. I need to find. And I'm not in the loop on this one, so I'm interested.
It's on the message board.
All right. Well, hey. Well, so if you
find it, they got.
That'll work. We got Jeff Blair. He's a law enforcement officer for 31 years, a retired deputy chief of the Tustin Police Department in California. He's a PS.com co-founder. He's a 4-time Majors Division champion, which, it's easy to maybe read through that real quickly, but it's a big thing, man. 4-time Majors Division champion and 2-time Masters Division champion, 2013 PS.com Hall of Fame inductee. So thanks for joining us again today, man. We're going to get caught up on a few things. Audrey says that the propane is guzzled up in the winter. And Dan says, nice hat in the background there, Joe.
Right there. That's from Dan Potter, Mr. Code 3.
Mark says, apparently you're just in season, friends, Joe. And let's see here. We've got Brandon says, I vote now. He, along with anyone in our circuit who's killed in the line of duty, be an automatic Hall of Fame inductee. Brandon West says, Tommy Eldridge texted me regarding this too. He is correct. And Brandon says, Dan is the man. And let's see here. What else we got? Stu says, they've been selling out before I could get in. Great job, Dan Potter, on your amazing raffles. I know that's what he
Dan is awesome. Dan is awesome.
Without a doubt. And let's see here. All right, I think that's it. Anthony Costanzo. Hello, man. What's going on, brother?
Big tone.
Hey, so I know that had been brought up, but I don't know, Jeff, is it kind of one of those things with the, if anyone killed in the line of duty, Hall of Fame inductee question? The reason I bring that up is because obviously it's brought up on the show, but, is it one of those things where, we kind of have we have our separation between the Hall of Fame, and then we have like our Hall of Heroes on the site. And so you tend to keep it separate because it's, definitely one Hall of Heroes is, obviously you paid that ultimate price. Whereas the other one, it has to do with maybe your performance, whether it's on the field, as a manager, as a sponsor. Do you kind of keep them separate for that? Because I know everything that's brought up, you guys have probably already heard before.
Right. I mean, Pat Hill's a great example. This is Pat Hill all over again, right? So one of the brothers on the circuit, weeks after the World Series is murdered. So that's why we created the Hall of Heroes. The problem is, I suspect that most people don't even know the Hall of Heroes even exists because they don't hit that tab on the website because they're not thinking about it until somebody dies, right? It's there for a reason. We created the Hall of Heroes specifically for a guy. Maybe it's his first year in police softball and he's killed in the line of duty. He automatically goes into the Hall of Heroes. Now, obviously, we don't put every officer killed in the line of duty in the Hall of Heroes because this is police softball, right? So there's a place for them too. But when it comes specifically to softball, we have the Hall of Heroes. So I honestly don't think that enough people. I mean, I don't think people really check the website a whole lot anymore. So it's like it's there. I bet you if I were to get on there and say, when's the last time somebody clicked the Hall of Heroes button? It's been months, years, something like that. And maybe we need to make a bigger deal. Maybe I need to take more responsibility for pushing it out there more. But so long story short is the Hall of Fame is not my Hall of Fame. It's everything's ours, right? I'm the guy with the buttons. Like if you guys all tell me that you want everybody in the Hall of Fame instead of the Hall of Heroes, or if you don't want to, separate them, that's fine. We got a committee, there's voting and things like that. But I do want to assure everybody that there is something in place for situations exactly like this.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. To your point of going on the message board, I mean, we do post for instance, our tournaments, the tournaments for 2022, and I think sometimes people just you mentioned it one time, Jeff. Sometimes that people aren't really into social media. People aren't really into high tech stuff. They're cool with their flip phones. And they're not interested in going on a site or anything like that. So I'm sure we do miss some of that. But definitely with that Hall of Heroes, I mean, I know I've done that, especially with the Pat Hill award, and I knew the significance of it. So yeah, I mean, there you go, with that opportunity, if enough people feel something about that, but I do think that there is an understanding of why people are bringing it up, man. It's just such a loss. It's such a commitment, such a sacrifice, and fuck, man, it hurts to lose somebody in the line of duty. So I know Jody White brought this up, and Jody, I didn't even know this about you. Of course, most people won't talk about it, but he says, the death of an officer hits close to home for me. I was shot in the line of duty in 2002. So bro, I really feel that. I hear you, Jody. And man, I'm happy that you're here with us, brother. Didn't know that. Anthony says, Jody White, that makes you a double hero. So yeah, man. Well, next I was going to talk about was, the World Series is over. That's what we're going to be talking about. But one of the things that came up was the body maintenance that takes place after the tournament is over. So how many people are waiting to have babies? How many people are waiting to get surgeries? You wonder why. And check this out, man. We got some action shots here. And you understand a little bit of why people are, they're doing what they're doing during the season to be able to make it to Vegas. So you see some of these plays, these all-out plays, man. And look at their a lot of diving, a lot of stretching. Let's go to that next one. Let's see what that one has on there. Yep. There's some more action shots there, man. So it's no doubt that, after a weekend like this, they're going to do some. Well, one of the guys from Louisiana who's having one of those surgeries is there, Perry. Let's see what we got here. Perry Gallo sent me this photo because, Joe, he's on our Louisville Slugger team.
Yeah, what happened?
Hey, dude, he's had this surgery. He's been waiting. You would never guess that this dude needed surgery the way he plays. Can you imagine if he's completely healthy? I mean, and so I thought it was interesting, man. We got the body maintenance after all the action there in Vegas, and this one was from Perry. So Perry's said he's going to be healing up and that he believes he'll be ready for the spring. So we got to get a schedule out. So that dude knows to get ready.
Get well soon, Perry.
Yeah, man. One of the things I thought, Jeff, that was interesting is I saw on the message board, and I don't even get on the message board as much, but of course I do check it, especially before the shows, try to get caught up on things and bring the attention to people who maybe they don't go to the message board, but they do tune into the podcast. And that is Dan McIntyre with the NonState Team. I thought this was pretty cool, man. Dan is interested. I think we have the details here. Let's see about that post. If you don't know, there you go. So Dan has that. I know there are a lot of us that want to travel to play more ball with our teams, and that doesn't always work out because of the schedules, which is a huge problem with SA Law. I like to assemble a group of guys to make up a team to go to 2 non-state tourneys when our teams are not traveling, similar to the night shift. Love those dudes, the night shift. If you're interested, man, contact Dan McIntyre, Midwest Heat, and you'll be able to maybe get hooked up on that team, man. I think that's a pretty neat thing to be able to do something like that, to travel to these tournaments. I definitely have it in mind for New York this year. I already told him that I was going to make it to New York. It's always an issue right before St. Louis, but this year I'm going to take a team up there. And so from what I understand, you don't need it's not a 2-state rule, so I definitely plan on getting a team together to head up there to New York this year.
That's a good one to pick.
Yeah, man. I like that, though. Good for you, Dan, to put that together and help support tournaments across the nation that allow for that. One quick thing I'm going to talk about is subscribers. So as of today, I have 883 subscribers to my YouTube channel. I only need 117 more to be able to get to 1,000. So if you don't mind, man, there's my Trini Trinidad page. If you'd go on there and just hit that subscribe button, I truly would appreciate it. I need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. I've got something really cool coming up here as soon as I reach 1,000 subscribers. So I truly would appreciate your support. And if you're watching this on Facebook, if you'll do me a favor, if you can, head over to you don't have to do it now, of course, but head over to YouTube, man, and subscribe to the channel and watch it on YouTube. That really helps me a lot with the watch hours, and to get 4,000 watch hours is a pretty good challenge. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would do that for me. All right, so let me see here what I got. All right, so we have got the 2022 tournament dates that are coming up. It's something new, Jeff, to the point of people maybe not getting on the message board. I had a couple of text messages asking me if we've solidified a date for 2022 because they're trying to make that happen. So I thought, why not incorporate that in our podcast now? So here is a current list of the 2022 tournaments coming up. You can check that out. Yeah, so there we go. These are the tournaments, and Deanna put them in order by date, so you can kind of see where you're at. Of course, we got the Police Softball World Series is always there right around that time, so there's no guesswork to that. Yet, Jeff, people still don't make the cutoff on the hotels. I'm telling you, I even had a guy from our team who was hurt, and a couple guys from our team, and I put that thing out. Every year we put it out, so thought it'd be good to go ahead and highlight this again. The Police Softball World Series is October the 6th and 9th. You can, as soon as he releases the rooms, man, you got to get them. And then, of course, the St. Louis Show Me Classic, Joe's Tournament, August 6th and 7th in Bridgeton, Missouri. And, of course, our Keepers of the Peace National Softball Championship, September the 9th and 10th, with the Players Party on the 8th in Waxahachie, Texas. So those are our 2022 tournaments. Yeah, there you go. So that's our Keepers of the Peace National Softball Championship. And would appreciate your support, man. We got something special coming up. I announced it before, but it was before Vegas. Everybody was concentrating on that. And that is a really neat players party at a honky-tonk there in Waxahachie, Texas, that a movie was shot with George Strait. So I'm excited about that. We got some neat plans, and we're going to reserve those dates here pretty soon to get those things locked in. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, so we got Jeff Blair. If y'all don't know who Jeff Blair is, oh, go ahead. Let's see. I got something I might be missing from Deanna. She's giving me a little signal on the back. Oh, yeah. So the stool pigeon photo. I guess I have an update, Jeff. What we got? I don't know how did this stool pigeon make it from where you live to San Antonio? It was a windy couple of days, and I don't know how this thing got here, but it got here. So let's check this out. Let's see what's going on with this. Oh, well.
So that was in Las Vegas. Michelle Pickney came over all excited because she captured the stool pigeon on film talking to one of her reliable sources. Talking to one of his reliable sources. So we now know who's feeding information into the stool pigeon.
I love it, man. Oh, man, if I'd have had that one, I'd have done some work with that one. That is awesome. Look at the little stool pigeon down there on the left, down at the bottom. That is awesome.
Working that poor guy for every bit of information the stool pigeon can get.
Hey, and the stool pigeon is creative enough to still avoid a camera. Look, you can't make out his face. You can only, all you got is some a description of the feet, maybe the feathers, but there's still no face to the stool pigeon. Damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work something out with that stool pigeon and see what I can bribe him on to get him to stop throwing me under the bus. But that's a good one. I like you guys. That's a good one. I think we'll go with all right. So, hey, if you don't know Jeff Blair, as far as he retired and now he's into personal training. He's always been fit. But, hey, this dude, the proof is in the pudding. Check this photo out. Again, this guy is doing what he needs, even more ripped. You wouldn't think that guy. Dude, you got to be careful, man. You could pass out one of these days. You need to make sure you can have water, oxygen, and whatever the hell else you need, dude. You are ripped. It's super impressive, man.
Jeff,
thanks, man. I turned 53 the week before the World Series. So
what's your body fat percentage, Jeff? I need to know that.
I'm guessing it's the low teens. It's probably like 13 or something like that. Yeah. So
that's impressive. That's impressive. I'm probably about 30%. Okay.
So my thing's sustainability. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's going to get like really big and then get really shredded. And I'm pretty much the same year round. I'm 53. I'm not going to get much bigger. I'm not going to, it's like, so if I can just kind of maintain that level of leanness while still being able to have a few beers and eat normally and stuff, I'm happy. So
that sounds like what they call a humble brag, I think.
I still got a life to live. You guys see me out there. I drink beer, have a good time. Like, I'm not like out there eating broccoli sprigs and stuff. So I want to be able to still have a good life. And so anyway,
what was that percentage again, Jeff?
I'm guessing it's or low teens. I'm guessing it's like 13 or so like that. There's no way it's single digits, but it's. I think
teens. Joe has that percentage on his forehead. Somewhere right around that head might be that percentage there. But hey, I want to give a quick shout out to, it says Mariana Monterrubio, but this is actually Xavier. All right, that's Andy's son. He came out to the golf tournament. What's up, man?
Nice.
He was a good winner at the raffle. Won some good prizes. So that's Jeff. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight Vegas now. We're going to do our recap. One of the things, I don't know if you saw it, Jeff, or not, but check this player out and what he sported on the way to Vegas. Joe, you want to tell us who that is?
Well, that's a St. Louis Cardinal fan, and they were actually playing the LA Dodgers in a 1-game playoff on his flight to Las Vegas. Once they landed, the game was over and the Cardinals had lost, and that's kind of like the walk of shame right there, wearing the St. Louis jacket after the Cardinals lose. But it is what it is. That's Shane Monic from the Missouri Lawman, and he's quite the character.
I'll tell you what, that dude cracks me up. I love his personality, and I wish I could have been not next to him on the plane, maybe the seat behind him to just see all the reactions and everything. I can't handle that kind of attention, but that was pretty damn good of Shane to wear that. That was pretty neat. All right. So, hey, we'll go to Jeff. I know you got your, what you want to run down. So I'm going to let you take it from here. I know we're going to be talking, I believe, about the players' party first. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was just kind of like in my head thinking about, let's just go through things in order of how they occurred. So, I mean, I thought the players' party, first of all, just as a general recap, man, it couldn't have gone better this year. Like, I just can't believe how we completely missed a year and came back, and it's like a well-oiled machine. And so if you guys ever saw, everything's policesoftball.com is like this big organization. It's me and my wife. It's Ryan Coe with a wounded arm because he just had reconstructive surgery, and Michelle, and then Coe's dad, right? So you can obviously see that we can't run the whole thing. So it was truly a group effort. And like Justin Witt had his Louisiana or Louisville guys show up on Thursday morning, like 5 a.m. They don't play till Friday. The entire team showed up and help us put our tent up and hang all the posters and stuff. So when I kind of mentioned somewhere that it's like it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to run this event, and I want to thank everybody beforehand who did like physical labor, like intensive stuff, making sure this thing worked. I mean, Big Tone was out there because we couldn't. I mean, we were out there one night, Saturday. We got there at 5 a.m. We didn't get out until midnight. But Big Tone was out there on Thursday and Friday to take over the duties for us, and it's just awesome having everyone pitch in and checking IDs, and it really is a community effort. So to flash forward to that player party, that's the biggest stress of my entire tournament. Like, because once the actual tournament starts going, the actual double elimination starts, it's like you guys have been there, right? It's a machine. The games happen, people win, people lose. It tells you where to go. But all the stuff leading up to that round robin with the run differentials and the seeding, and then that opening ceremony, like trying to hey, the honor guard's here. Hey, the gal singing the national anthem, Donnie Wells' daughter, she's here. She needs to know if the mic works. There's so much little stuff that goes into that it is by that event you guys are looking at right there is the most stressful thing that happens to me all weekend. And the minute that thing is over, my stress just drops like 100 points because it's so critical. I mean, you saw what was going on out there. We had people proposing to their future wives on the field. We have a girl singing the national anthem and people are just breaking down in tears. We have taps going on. We have Hall of Fame inductions for these guys that are going on. And then I really got to thank Mike O'Neill, who's the voice of police softball. Just it brings so much more to it here, over the booming loudspeakers and things of that nature. So the player party was great. Big thanks to Garrett Metal Detectors. I mean, they chipped in a couple grand to pay for the. They're there. Thank you guys. That player, you guys are drinking free beer thanks to Garrett and all that stuff that went along with it. Garrett Metal Detectors, and they really support law enforcement. So
absolutely, and they do it for multiple tournaments. I mean, they're definitely going to be there every year for Vegas. But man, those guys always come through. And I remember one year when they were able to help us out. I wrote a letter and then I got a response, and that was pretty cool, man. From a sponsor to be able to have a response about the importance of what they're doing to support us. So that's really cool on their part.
Yeah, so it's just like I said, it took a village. Like, for example, the guy who wins a home run derby gets an AR-15. That's incredible. That's not me giving that out. That's Justin Witt, who went out and talked to his friends from Bud's Gun Shop. Everybody contributes to make the event so well. So it's not like it's not. It's just it's everybody participating in this thing. Everyone. It's the sum of all of our parts that makes it so big. And that player party was a lot of fun, and it culminated with that home run derby with Jake Rivers from Minnesota winning. There he is, King Jake. So,
and I will tell you this, Jeff, before we get to that part, because I do see him there, and I want to
ahead. I'm sorry.
him.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. Deanna, what I was gonna do is first I wanted to show. We did have a picture, and Deanna, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yeah, of Mike O'Neill, and I'm not sure if he was doing this, but during that opening ceremonies, I think he threw out the first pitch. So I think that was a picture of him.
That's big.
Yeah. All right. So we wanted to show that picture. We collected that one, and then as far as you talked about the awards, and we got a picture there, Jeff. If you don't mind guiding us on this one, give them a little credit. These guys they've earned this for various awards, and then of course the Hall of Fame, if you just want to run that down real quickly.
Yeah, great. So those end of the year awards, so the top one, those are we accept nominations for those and then make a decision ultimately on who's going to get them, like Player of the Year, Dustin Laughlin from SinCal. Generally speaking, the Player of the Year is going to be on one of the best teams in the nation. He's going to be the best player in the best team. When it comes to, and same with like the Defensive Player of the Year. Manager of the Year, we got Maryland there, Randy Sampson, who's like he proved himself to very worthy of the award by leading his team to majors, cracking the top 10 in majors. Just looked outstanding. The one award that I don't have any say so over is Big Tone and Dennis came up with the Dale Pickney Lifetime Achievement Award, and it's a surprise. So we never announced that one before the World Series, and in this case, they presented it to Terry Dugan. And then the man to Terry's, the man to Terry's right, Paul Chavez, is a sponsor of the year. The reason he's a sponsor of the year is because he grew up with Dale and went to high school with him. So he presented Terry with, in addition to Paul getting an award, he turned around and gave Terry an engraved watch. It was a really, really nice watch. And it's got awesome. Dale Pickney's badge number and whatnot on it. And then Mario Foster there from Mid-Atlantic. Brett Helmer could not be here this year. So Mario's out there. And then to the right, I don't have his name off the top of my head.
Real quick, Jeff, on that Dale Pickney Award, man. I mean, what a special award! What an awesome thing to be able to do and to bring that up. I don't know how. Obviously, it goes perfectly with the with the circuit. But man, what a special award to win! And man, big shout out to Terry for that nomination ultimately being decided on. Man, that was awesome. Of course, to all of them.
Right.
Very special. So.
Yeah, so that Terry was because he had no idea. I think we had to pull him out of the bar or something. He came down, he got all teared up to get the award.
I saw him up there. I saw him, and when they announced him, he still didn't get it, man. It took a little second. I don't know if that was his hearing or if he was just in shock. But either way, it took him a little while to react, and then ultimately went down. That was a great surprise.
So, and we're lucky. The gentleman to the far right, he's not the guy that we typically deal with. He's the new president of the Sacramento. Nate Seeger. There it is. I'm looking right now. The Deputy Sheriff's Association president for Sacramento. So Big Tone hooked us up with the Sac Sheriffs, and they're a big sponsor. All those plaques come from the Sac Sheriffs.
All right.
He's the new guy, Nate. He's on board now. So it's awesome. Just an honor to have all those guys out there. And then that's the end of the year award winners. And the bottom, awesome. That's your Hall of Fame class from this year. So that might awesome. Be is that this year or last year?
I think some are from last year and
Okay.
Some are from this year.
Yeah, they asked for both to come down because last year was a jacked year. We could present it to them, so they brought them all on board. So I'm really excited for all those winners, man. It was a great. Every time one kept coming up, it was just like, man, badass, deserving. So that was just super cool.
And we are working on we used to have the Hall of Fame ring design, and then we lost contact with the manufacturer through the years, and so we are working with a new. I need to start doing this actually, but working with a new company to design a new ring so people, if they want, can purchase their own. And a lot of times it'll be the team that purchases it for the player that gets into the Hall of Fame, but a Hall of Fame ring. So
awesome. As far as the Covey Clown, so we know we had the Covey Clown there, and he pulled a few people's nerves and played with some people's minds. And so, the unmasking of the Covey Clown was kind of an interesting thing that was coming up. I didn't know how long the Covey Clown was going to be around, but I think for his safety, it was good that he was unmasked and will be done. The pigeon can fly quickly, obviously, so pigeon can run, but the COVID clown could have gotten tracked down. So let's see what that turned out to be. Yeah, that was a good one. Let's see here. So that was the unmasking of the COVID clown.
So that's Justin Witt, for those of you guys who don't recognize him, whatever. Justin is the leader of Louisville. And most people, only one person I know of figured out it was Justin. And John Zintak figured it out beforehand. But everyone else was pointing fingers at Terry Dugan and people out of California. And a lot of people thought it was me. And I said, listen, this is not me. I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you guys. So I even put in there, I am the Zingbot, but I am not the COVID clown. Here's the COVID clown.
Yeah, that's good, man. That was pretty cool on his part to come out. I think you almost ripped his you were taking that mask off, and then it kind of caught that back part of his deal, but he made it out of there alive, so he was good.
I want to make it like a wrestling, the wrestlers rip the mask off and then they do, oh my God, it's the Dusty Rhodes.
All right, so now on to the home run derby. So again, of course, we got the king there. You're good. So here's what I want to show you. Check out all these hits. I mean, you got a photo here of these people batting. I mean, you can take a look at these dudes' swings. I mean, you got some serious hitters there. And so there's tons of talent when it comes to hitting. And I'm not just talking home runs, of course, the guys that can control it, or if they're even just base hitters and they never hit a home run, doesn't matter. In the end, you have a high level of talent in our circuit. And the umpires are always commenting on that, especially at our tournaments. They talk to me, I guess, because I'm the coordinator, and they'll tell me about how impressed they are. They're like, man, y'all are a bunch of cops. Are you sure? Because they always freak out on the talent. So to emphasize even more about the significance of being the home run derby champion, I just wanted to show some pictures of this. So let's move on to our home run derby champion. And I think it's a really cool picture, Jeff, and I want you to be able to comment on this picture along there to the left, especially.
Okay, so the one on the left, so that's a father-son team. So to show you how old I am, I played against the old man. So that's Mike, and he's Minnesota lawman, and like Jake's a big dude. Everybody in Minnesota lawman back in the day, they were all like that tall. And you guys have seen me; I'm not very tall.
Oh yeah.
And every time we played against these guys, it was like just monsters out there. But it was so great to see this father-son and the tradition of police softball being passed down. And I never played against Jake. I think he's too young. And he talked about his first year ever going to a police softball tournament as a kid was in Palm Springs when I was running the tournament then, so, and now to have him as the home run king and his dad there to celebrate, I think it's really awesome. I know that he appreciates it so much that his family has bought him a duplicate belt from the Tustin Award. Yeah, Dale bought that belt in Tustin at the Tustin Award Center, and his family's having it duplicated for him to.
Wow.
I guess you could wear it around the house.
I would. Shit.
I would too, man.
I'd wear it into the bedroom and say, yeah, honey, that's right. He
beat out 100 guys. 100. I mean, I'm talking about 100 ballers. I mean, you've seen some of the guys that play softball. I mean, these guys played professional baseball before. He beat 100 guys out for that. So
yeah, holy smokes.
Impressive. Yeah.
Man. Well, that was super significant. That was really neat to watch. And then ultimately we had the marquee coaches game. I wanted to also show a picture here of these. And this was these were the two that kind of stood out to me. So of course we got Los, Carlos Vega in there, and that was really neat to be able to see him, how much of a supporter he is to law enforcement softball. So it was cool to see him out there. I didn't get to watch a lot of it because we had to play and go get prepared, but to see Dan out there like that, man, that was super cool, man.
Look at that swing that Dan's got. He can never call me out for stepping out of the box again after seeing that.
Right. Oh, yeah. He's the rules are the rules. You're out of the box.
Nice, Joe. I like that one. That's a good one. I wonder where that one went. Did it go over the fence?
It might have gone to that third base dugout.
All right, so that was a good one, man. I was very happy to see that game take place, man. So that was neat. Was it the first time?
Yes, first manager's game. Right.
I like that one. That was pretty cool, and I definitely heard the cheers and the oohs and the ahs and everything come from that. So that was definitely one of the crowd favorites, I believe. When it came to to one of these exhibition games. I know we have bats provided, and I mean, those are some pretty cool bats, man. They were all, I know we don't have a picture on that, but
right.
There were some great bats, man.
Let me just backtrack back to that coaches game, right? So here's one thing I really want people to focus on maybe next year is like, make an effort to come back to the field for that opening ceremony. It's 2 hours of your night. It's, you still be done early in time. It really, I think that you really miss the spirit of police softball if you don't show up for that opening ceremony. To see Mike O'Neill throw out the first pitch in honor of, of all the COVID victims throughout the year, including Christy, who was, his longtime, they weren't technically married, but life partner for 20 plus years, biggest fan of police softball, never missed a police softball tournament. See tears streaming down his face, to see Dan Potter swing the bat, all because you want to go, play roulette or something. I tell you what, Vegas, it's 24/7 in Vegas, right? You can gamble whenever you want. You can eat whenever you want. Make it a priority to come out to that field and participate in that stuff. And just, I don't know. I was a little disheartened. The turnout was great. Don't get me wrong. But I was a little disheartened. The teams didn't even stick around to find out when they were playing. I was getting text messages during the opening ceremony, like, hey, what time does my team play? They knew they had to play later in the night. Like, well, if you got to play at 7, 8, or 9, why not come back here at 5, watch the opening ceremony? But anyway,
well, you know what, Jeff? Here's the thing, though, and I'm going to say this. I'm just going to say it, and it is what it is. I don't know how to convince people who aren't there mentally for what this is really all about. And it sucks to say that. You'd like to think everybody's on the same page. It's what you like to think. But it just doesn't happen that way, man. And you can continue to harp on it. Like I harp on it in my tournament. I'm like, please show up to that, because we put a lot of time and effort and thought into those opening ceremonies. And we do that as tournament directors because we care so much about the circuit. We are not throwing tournaments to have the spotlight on us. We're not throwing the tournaments to make money. We can make money doing a lot of other things. We don't need to do what we're doing for a tournament. I'll speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I echo y'all's sentiments. I'm just saying, for me, it truly is important, those opening ceremonies. And I make it an emphasis for my team. And ultimately, I just wish that people could understand, if you just go to one, man, I don't know if you'd miss another. If you could just make that happen. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see here. So the provided bats were really good. They were hot. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry, I muted myself. The bats, right? So on Wednesday we had none. And this is no joke, right? The tournament was Thursday. On Wednesday night, Brett Helmer, this guy is a miracle.
Wow.
Somehow they were all stuck in like boats in the harbor, coming from China or whatever, right? So somehow Helmer got a huge shipment of bats delivered out of nowhere. Chad Augustine was able to
awesome.
Chad's a great guy. Chad, I think it's Agustin, but I call him Chad Augustine. That's how we know him as, right? From Hawaii. Yeah. He was able to get bats. And then Carlos Vega, of course, had his bats, the El Presidentes, which was awesome. But literally on Wednesday, I didn't have a single bat in my hand. It was that thing all came together really, really at the last minute.
And how cool is that? Joe and I, right, Joe, we just talked about this because of the golf tournament. Yep. And I go through the same thing, man. People do not understand what goes into running something like this. Because even in our golf tournament, 2-3 days out, and Deanna and I are sitting there going, oh my God, they messed this up. Or, oh my God, we don't have this. And it's like, oh, dude, you stress the hell out.
Right.
And so it's just interesting. That's why I told you, Jeff, and I'm dead serious, Joe, when I talk about this. I truly believe in Vegas one of these years. I would really love to put it out and just have some sort of a tournament coordinators get together and just all go to a certain corner of the bar and just sit and just talk about this stuff so we can just let loose.
Right.
But no, the bats were awesome, man. All of them were hot. So it was really cool. And then we also had Jeff and Joe, we had the free agent team that shocked the world. And I'd like to be able to, we're going to show a picture of this one and then y'all can comment on it.
That's them.
So explain this one, because I do have it. Let's see, Deanna, actually, I think I have the details here. because I did want to highlight that. If you don't mind putting up, let's see. I don't know. No. All right. Well,
Okay, I got all the details. So what
ahead.
happened was you guys saw this year at the World Series, we had a 3-game round robin for majors, and it was really critical because there were 4 at-large berths that were going to go to majors, and the rest of the guys were going to go to mid-majors, right? Well, Northern Lawman, who was clearly an upper team, I call uppers all mid-majors and majors. If you're mid-majors or majors, you're considered an upper team, right? And then we'll hash it out when we get to the fields. Well, Northern Lawman dropped late and all due to COVID, right? So it wasn't like they broke their hearts. But whatever the case is, it left one bracket that included the Great Lakes team, who was, going into one of the favorites, the top East team, without a 4th team in there. So I needed to find a quick solution. So I came up with this idea of inviting all the gold players. Say, hey, look, I don't care. Give me 12 warm bodies as long as you qualify as a police softball player. And let's put a team together. And their goal, I told these guys, their goal was to not get run ruled every game. I said, just try to play competitive softball. I put Kevin Schock, he's right in the middle there. He's a big sponsor he gets our Garrett sponsorship for us. But Schock, who used to run Team Texas, in charge of this team, most of these guys did not know each other. They're shaking hands in the dugout. And these guys go out and they go 2-1. They run rule one of the teams in the bracket. They take the Great Lakes Lawmen, who were, the team projected to go, toward the end here, the top East team. They took them to the bottom of the 7th, right before they finally lost. And had we have allowed them to stay together as a team, they would have won one of the major berths over Stanislaus. All those teams were in mid majors. That vagabond group you're looking at right there would have been ahead of them going to majors. Yeah. So it was just great to see these guys come together, just ragtag. And they play. I mean, it was no fluke. These guys played great softball. I mean, the defense was locked down. The timely hitting. Brad Johnson pitched for him, did a great job. I was cheering these guys on. This was truly the Cinderella story.
I think it was super cool. It was a great idea. And also, when I asked about it and people were saying, oh, well, they can't advance, they can't do anything other than just fill a spot. I thought that was a great way to do it instead of getting a berth. And so,
right. Yeah, they were done. They played their 3 games. They're done. Their job was just to create some kind of balance for the other teams so we could gauge where the other teams were going to go. Yeah. I did not expect them to win a game. And I certainly didn't expect them to win one of the berths that they would have. But, yeah, they were great. It was really fun seeing it. So I bet you those guys will stay in touch with each other, and some of those guys will be friends forever now. Just based on that experience.
I'll tell you what, man. Again, one of these tournaments that I'm big on supporting tournaments. If the rules allow for it, I'm big on doing things like that, man. And what a neat thing to do. That was a birth from this situation. It had to happen. You made it happen. And who knows, man, this team could say, hey, man, the hell with it. Let's go to New York, or let's go to some other tournament and just get together. So, I definitely I think that's a neat thing. And I love being able to experiment with things like this because it, nothing but positive things should come from it. So
it worked out. I got lucky because a lot of teams were complaining, saying that, oh, that's unfair. That bracket has a bunch of gold players in it. And those teams are going to be artificially get higher rankings in the. It did not work out that way. So these guys did great. So
yeah, cool. Well, hey, one of the things I'm going to comment before we get to the way that the tournament all turned out was, and we grabbed these pictures off the site. One of the things I was going to talk about is helmets. So I think it was pretty neat to highlight the helmets. I don't know if we've ever done it, but it's a neat thing to do on the podcast. So check out this photo of some of the helmets of the pitchers that are out there in the circuit. I think it's pretty neat when you start looking at, the creativity of some of these helmets. I mean, some of them decide to put their, we got the glasses, the shades. Like some dudes wear sunglasses, but it was neat to be able to see these shades that come on the helmet. You got the stars and stripes. Manny's got the white helmet, and he's got some pretty neat emblems on the back. Got some strikeout. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but if you look at the back of Manny's helmet, there's some little stickers there that signify some strikeouts. So I thought that was pretty neat, kind of following suit with some like the football type things. You got Kentucky blue, the red helmets, the gray helmets, and then the helmets with the I think that one's Louisville Slugger, if I'm not mistaken, LS. But I thought that was pretty neat to be able to touch on like some of these helmets. I think it's neat. I like looking at these pitchers' helmets. What's the best one you've ever seen, Joe?
Well, I'll say this. There's one that Albert just sent me. Albert Sanchez just sent me a picture of, and I thought it was pretty badass. It's got Mets colors and everything like that, but it was a 360 view of the helmet he sent me. Whoever does the airbrushing and does these helmets did a great job for Albert.
Yeah, Duke from the Hounds came up with, I think it was a Del Pinkney Memorial type helmet. That was pretty cool to see that one. Yeah. That was a couple of years ago with the West Conference tournament. So
I mean, kind of neat thing to maybe give a little attention to it and just see maybe what some of these pictures can come up with, man. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see some neat designs on the helmets, and that might be a positive effect of highlighting them on the show. What were we going to say, Joe?
I wasn't going to say anything. I think it's like the hockey goalies in the NHL. They got all the custom paint jobs on their helmets. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty neat, man.
So all those pictures, that was me this year. So usually Dell was the picture guy. So we got a hold of he had a nice camera lens, so we got a hold of it. So it was a lot of fun getting out there taking. I'm not as good as him yet, but I had a lot of fun taking pictures. I had some pretty good ones, I thought. So.
Yeah, man. Well, that's why when I went through and I saw the action photos, I was like, oh, man, I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about these guys who are hurting after Vegas, and let me show why they're hurting after Vegas, man. Some of these all-out plays. So that was a great job, Jeff. I was impressed.
Yeah, it's tough because, I got to okay, luckily I know some of the players. Like, okay, this guy normally hits backside. So I'm going to focus on the second baseman. Just hope they hit it that direction. But, I think for every one good picture I take like 10 bad ones because I got to point in the wrong direction. But I mean, it's just it's a role. It's not like the Major League Baseball where you got 5 cameramen out there focused on each individual player. I got to guess where the ball's going to go.
And then I'm sure you had to delete a bunch of photos because you're trying that's a lot of time, man, deleting a bunch of those photos. So, hey, Stu commented, said, oddly enough, just started painting my new helmet. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Hey, look what Andy's got. Andy says, World Series pitcher of the tournament or year gets a custom helmet. Ooh, I like that idea, man. That'd be pretty neat, man. I like that. That's a good one. So, man, we got Albert Sanchez commenting, throwing photo helmets up. Andy making suggestions. Pretty good ideas from our SA Law guys. All right. Hey, well, here's the next picture thing I wanted to focus on was check this photo out. I thought it was interesting that in the photos, look how you caught some of those dudes delivering that low pitch. Pretty neat, man. Be able to see these guys down low, and you wonder why your pitchers are freaking just zapped at the end of the tournament, man. I mean, they get low on some of those pitches, and I think it's neat to switch it up like that.
The one thing that sticks out to me is one guy's not wearing a helmet.
Oh, I know.
Or a face mask, face guard, and of course it's Donnie Meyer.
He's seen a lot of pitches come his way, a lot of hits come his way, I imagine. Yeah.
One thing that I've seen in the evolution of police softball for sure has been the athleticism of the pitcher position. So when I first started playing police softball, you put your fat old guy out there, and it was he'd throw it up as high as he could and kind of chuck and duck, and it was understood you didn't hit the middle. And now the middle's very, very much a part of the game, which is why these guys have helmets. But at the same time, those pitchers are oftentimes the best defenders. I mean, they're shutting the middle down. I commented on the message board about a couple like things that I saw that teams made little mistakes on that they could have improved upon, like the pitcher, a couple teams where the pitcher was just a spectator to pitch it and then stand there and wait for them. But the really, really good teams, those pitchers are covering first. A lot of times, like you'll see, like with 2 outs on the major teams, primarily, those infielders move way back into the grass if there's a runner on first and the pitcher goes, I got second. That allows all those infielders. The ball's coming to second. It's not coming to first. The pitcher's got to beat that runner on first to second. It's an athlete. And so, Trini, to your point, I just was looking at those guys, and they're all in pretty good shape. And even Donnie, even though he's older, he'll cover second. Believe me, he'll get there. So
yeah. And I'll tell you what, with the like what you're talking about with those pitchers, I mean, mentally, you know how it is. You go to work, whether you're in a supervisory position, maybe you're the lead of an ops or something like that. I mean, the amount of mental effort that has to be put out, not just physical, but mental. You're in every single play, especially with the evolution of the pitcher now with U-Trip, like it is. I mean, you're covering the holes. You're thinking about this batter. Where did he hit last time? What does he like? What doesn't he like? Hey, I got second, or who's got me? We're going to turn 2. Who's got me? I mean, the mental effort that goes into the pitcher. I mean, it's huge, man. And what a difference it can make, for a team. I mean,
think about position wise, like third base, right? Like, oh my God, because we used to play Ryan Coe at third base. He was our best player. Put him at third base. He might have the ball in his hands 5 times a game. We moved to pitcher. He's got the ball in his hands every single pitch, right? And like he's everywhere. Like, so I was a big fan of put your best athlete at pitcher. And I used to tell Terry Dugan this all the time. Like I thought like Corey Rogerson when he was playing, I said, make that he's young. This is underhand, right? You're not born a 6'3" left-handed 90-mile-an-hour pitcher. Give me a good athlete. They'll learn how to pitch, right? If they're a good athlete, they'll learn how to pitch, but put like Corey or somebody like that, teach him how to be a pitcher. Cole did the same thing. We put him in and say, like, can you figure out how to pitch? And, 2 weeks later, he's pitching for us and he kept getting better. I would encourage every team to do that. Like put your best athlete at pitcher. That's just that's my theory. It's a little counterculture, but that's what I would do now. So,
yeah. Well, we got Donnie. Donnie joined us. He said he just got in, and he also said that picture was a marquee game. I got geared up for the radio. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So what he's basically saying is, I wasn't afraid during that game. I was good.
I think Los lit him up, though. I think Los sizzled him. Carlos Vega. Yeah.
Oh, man. We got Rick Bonda tuning in. Appreciate you, Rick. Yeah, it's one of our local umpires, ball players, but a really cool dude, man. So thanks for tuning in, Rick. Great umpire. We got Andy who says a pitcher is a part of every play and you need to show them love. Absolutely. That dude should never have to go search for a energy drink, a water, or food. I mean, you should take care of your pitchers. Let's see here. We got Stu. Stu says, as a pitcher, I hate it when pitchers get mad at middle shots. It's part of the game unless there's bad intentions. Most pitchers get more mad they didn't field it. And so you do see some of these pitchers that are seasoned that are like, hey, man, it's cool, because you apologize. Hey, man, didn't mean to do that. And they're like, no, cool. In fact, one of the things I've heard quite often from the pitchers was, hey, man, you didn't have a choice. I pitched you a certain kind of pitch. What else could you do with it? You know what I mean? So anyway, I hear where you're coming from. Let's see. Always gear up. And then Dan says, I think he got hit in that marquee game is what Dan says. All right, so let's go here. All right, so hey, man, that's the end of that part of it. Jeff, I'm going to let you run with it, man, starting with the gold division.
So okay, first of all, let me gloat a little bit here. Do you guys remember my Swami Ball predictions?
Yeah, they're always pretty good.
38 teams in the gold division, and how do I pick 1 and 2 in the championship game with South Florida over Team Texas? And like I said, it's like I posted something on the message board. It's like I don't have any magical powers. I watch these teams. Like I get to watch a lot of softball, and I can see that's a complete team. These guys want to win the whole bit. So long story short is the gold division, biggest division. Love the gold division. It's going to be the same for – okay, I am changing something, I think, next year for the gold division. I really liked how we did majors this year where there was 4 round robin games, and then, there's some predetermined majors teams, and then the rest of the teams went to –
3 round robin games.
Did I say 3? Did I say 4?
4.
Okay, 4 teams per bracket, 3 round robin games, and then there's some predetermined teams and some at-large berths. I really like that. So I'm going to do that next year for majors. For gold – I noticed that they only had 2 round robin games and they had double elimination, and there was a drop down for silver. And then some of the guys didn't want to come back for silver. So it lessened the experience. And I never want to have a lessened experience for anybody. So I think I'll do the same thing for gold next year. And so next year, same thing is I'm going to emulate majors. I'm going to give them 3 round robin games. And then maybe the top 3 teams stay in gold, and then the team that finishes last will drop down to double elimination silver. So that'll make silver kind of a bigger deal, so teams won't just leave. Anyway, new topic. So it's a big division, right? So I got room for 40. We had 38. 2 teams dropped out at the last minute. But whatever the case is, 38 teams went there, and all my teams that I kind of projected did exactly kind of what I thought they would do. Like I had like Oklahoma in the top 5, and I think they probably finished 5th or something like that. But I had South Florida number 1. They earned it. They were deep. They were athletic. They're young. One thing I learned, this is a lesson learned for me, is like when we're giving out like the Pat Hill Award or things like that, and many of those guys have never been to the World Series before. So these guys they've heard of Del Pinkney. I've never met Del Pinkney. They have no idea about Pat Hill. They never even heard of Chevy Wright. So there's so many new guys coming into the sport that me and Ryan Cohen and I decided we're going to do, like, you'll see it, but we're going to celebrate who's Walt Connery Manager of the Year. We're going to have it so people can read about the history if they're interested. So long story short is, just to get back to South Florida, we had a showing of hands, and there's like 9 guys. It was like their first ever World Series, but they had a good mix of veterans who'd been there before. Brandon's teams just played really, really well. So they definitely earned it. They were definitely, like, you can't argue like, hey, they weren't the best team that weekend. They were the best team that weekend.
Awesome, man.
Second place team. Yeah, there they are. Second place was Team Tech. So those guys, so I'm telling you right now, we're doing this now from this point on too. Automatic bump up to the upper division. So I'm not saying majors, mid-major. I'm just saying they go up to the uppers, and they'll be thrown into the mix where they're either going to land in majors or mid-majors based on how many at-large berths they are. So they get a promotion next year, as does the second place team, Team Texas. So Team Texas also gets a promotion. They played great. I mean, they were in the loser bracket early. Lone Star, the cross-state rival, sent them in the loser bracket, and they won like 7 or 8 in a row.
They played like 10 hours straight.
Yeah, it was awesome. That's what this is designed for. I mean, the memories of playing that many games and still gave South Florida such a good battle. They were second, but they were getting promoted too. So next year they go up. And when I say next year, what I don't want is teams getting smart. Like, okay, well, we're going to take a year off, right? So when I say next, it's the next time they come to the World Series, they have to play up. And they're going to say, well, if the team, like we've had this before, a team changes their name, they get the same guys, and they come back and they still want to. So because I have all the rosters now, if there's at least 6 guys on the roster on that team, they go up, right? So they might call themselves something different next year, the Texas Bighorns or whatever like that.
Do you see
if
that
there's
often?
6 of those, what's that?
Do you see that often? Because I know in civilian ball they do that a lot. But it's
happened to us in the past. Yeah,
really?
It's happened to us in the past.
I was going to say, because we all kind of know each other. We all know kind of where we're at. And so I think that would be really difficult. And ultimately, I think the managers would be like, no, man, we don't want to do that. But I mean, I guess you've seen it before. And so,
right, it's happened. It happened. Right, yeah, it's happened. So it's always the lower division. That's why you don't hear much about it. So long story short, and then third place was the.
Real quick, I think we have a picture of from the team. Let's see here. We had there we go.
South Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Del Pinkney MVP? Yep. So he's got the Del Pinkney award around his neck. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And then do we have a photo of Team Texas or no?
I didn't send one, so yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. So they're getting promoted too. They play great. Lights out.
Congratulations to those guys, my Texas team. That was awesome.
The big surprise was Nitro to go, which was a team that kind of scuffled all year. And they just put it all together, and they made it all the way to the undefeated game, right? They lost that and then turned around and lost the next game, but they finished in third place, and they did really well. Unfortunately, one of the reasons I'm wearing this hat is they lost their pitcher in the offseason because of philosophical differences with team philosophy, or so he didn't want to get into it. So there's a rumor going around that maybe he's going to land here, maybe he'll land on DEA, maybe he'll land on the Sac Razorbacks. We'll see. Yeah. But whatever the case, I was really impressed with
a reunion with DEA.
Could be. So there's a lot of moving parts to the pitchers here in California.
Well, if there's a reunion with DEA, that means that somebody else must be going to State 48 then.
Well, there's a reason why I'm wearing this hat. There's gonna be some movement somewhere. So, and this team,
the pigeon hasn't made it back yet to where you're at.
No, I got to keep things close to the chest till I find out. So there could be some pitching movement. We'll find out. But so
cool.
third place was Nitro, and then fourth place was a team that I predicted go third. So considering I picked teams 1, 2, and 3, and they went 1, 2, 4 out of 38 teams, I'm pretty impressed with that. Center Mass, that another Florida team. Those guys played great. I mean, I watched those guys. They're a complete team. And I always look at teams like, man, are these guys just lucky right now? Or they're not. They're good. They're really good. So obviously they don't have to promote next year. So they're going to be a favorite, I think, to win that gold division. Now, that being said, as we move on to mid-majors, some of those mid-major teams that didn't play as well this year, they're going to get a chance to bump down. So that's
don't look at me, man. We were missing half our team. We stunk it. We stunk it up this year.
Well, you're on the list. You got to play good this year then.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just want to give a quick shout out to Brandon, man. He's always supporting our podcast, always sends me messages, something's up, whatever. He'll send me some supportive message, and I do appreciate you. Congratulations again, man. Congratulations to y'all's team. So I know we in our list, I know we just covered the gold division. On our list, we have silver division next. Can we go with the silver division?
So let's go with that. So obviously the gold division, if you go, I did it the first 16 teams eliminated from gold go to silver. And it just drives me nuts how many times like guys think they went 0-2 and they go home, right? Like so teams like, oh, we're done now. Like I can't, like, if you don't read the message board to read that you still go to the silver division, or if you don't take the time to even look at the board, I mean, I highlighted the boxes yellow, big lines. Like if you lose these games, you go to silver. And we still had teams that said, oh, no, we didn't know we were going to play again, so we're going to leave. But whatever the case was, one half of the silver division ended up with so you got a top half and a bottom half. The bottom half ended up with some really good teams like Louisiana, Northwest Shakedown, like legit teams that were in the mix to win gold. They just happened to have a bad draw. And it was Northwest Shakedown out of Seattle. And Bill Judd, afterwards, I talked to him. He ran the team. They played great. And he said, hey, man, you give me a bunch of lemons, I'll make lemonade. He goes, this is not the medal we were hoping to get. But at the same time, we're going to play hard and play every game. And I watched those guys. They had a shootout against Louisiana. It was like 30-27 or something. It was a really good game. So the silver division, typically, I saw Louisville one time end up in silver. It usually is going to be one team that's a really good team that drops down accidentally and ends up running the table. And to prevent that now, if we do it the way I'm planning on doing it, to where 3 round robin games – and then the worst team in the bracket goes to silver, it'll probably prevent that from happening.
All right. All right. Well, congratulations to those boys. And I think we're going to mid-majors now.
Yeah, mids. So mids is the toughest one to predict because I don't know who's going to be in mids, right? Because there's a play-in and stuff like that. The bottom line is Stanislaus won it again. And hopefully if we do this right, it's the last time that we ever have a mid-majors team win 2 years in a row. Now, keep in mind, the only reason we allowed them to stay in mids is because of the COVID year, right? So those guys are an automatic bump to majors next year. So they'll, even if they're like ranked 24 or whatever like that, or even if they're ranked 29, whatever, they're going to have a star next to their name saying they got to go to majors. So that being said, they're every bit capable of competing in majors. Those guys are really good. I mean, this team this year is better than the team that won it 2 years ago. I mean, I watched those guys like jumping over the wall, KJ Vandergrift jumping over the wall and stealing home runs, and good pitching, timely hitting. Those guys are every bit a majors team. So, and they deserved it. Like, there's no complaints about that. They beat North Florida. That's another team that's going to get a little asterisk next to the name. They're going to majors next year no matter what. North Florida, great team. Hit the crap out of the ball. Just a little gas toward the end there. But they gave Stanislaus a nice run. So they were two. They played really well. The third place team was kind of a dark horse, but I knew they were good. I didn't know they were that good. Is the Enforcers at a NorCal, Frank Tarone's team and all those guys up there. They played really well. Yeah, I don't know. Trini, did you play against those guys?
We played against them. They were tough. They were really tough.
No, they showed up definitely, and they did a really good job. I was impressed.
So they're definitely staying in the uppers. We'll see where they end up next year. They could be mids, could be majors, but they're going to gold. So yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we got another picture from Stanislaus. Let's see here.
There you go.
Yep. So that was look at that bling there.
That's the watch. So Paul Chavez gave that to all the MVPs of the big divisions, majors, mids, and gold. Awesome watch.
Man, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the mid-majors, and then we're going on to majors. But before that, I do want to recognize Javier. I want to make sure we pay attention to that. He says Trini is the best. I appreciate that, Javi. Thank you very much, Joe. I'm sure we'll work something out. He'll make a comment for you, I'm sure. Dan says watch both 2019 and 2021 SC games, and I agree. This year's team is much better. Stanislaus. Nick Rodriguez says, as a pitcher, you need to field your position. Love you, brother. Mickey. Donnie says, Enforcers are definitely a good team. And hey, Mickey, happy to have you here, buddy. And then Donnie says, Stanislaus, a great group of guys. I like those guys also, man. Cool dudes. So let's go to the majors, man. Whew, this was impressive.
The Swami Ball called LAPD Blue over the Connection in the championship game, and it was LAPD Blue over the Connection. So here's why. They're just LAPD Blue. They're just too deep with talent. Everyone was there, and they were all, for the most part, healthy. That being said, there was a point in the tournament where Connection looked like the best team I've ever seen play police softball. They played LAPD Blue in the undefeated game, and they executed what I thought, and I call them the excellence of execution. I named it after Bret Hart, the wrestler, but I thought they executed the perfect game. I mean, they were flawless. Their defense was flawless. Their hitting was, everything was on a line or in a gap, and there was no like routine flyouts. There was no easy out when those guys came up. I mean, they were like a buzzsaw, and they run ruled LAPD Blue, and you could see LAPD Blue kind of like get deflated a little bit. And I thought, man, this Connection team, they're going to be undefeated. They're going to win this thing just because they're just so playing so well. And then the championship game happened, and it was really close fourth. And LAPD Blue they got so much talent, right? And they got guys like Mike Snyder. The guy he's not going to lose. I mean, if he loses, he's shocked. It's like, it's like a major problem for that guy to lose. And they just will their team to win. And they won that first game, barely. It was a close game. And then after that, you could just see that the momentum had shifted and the depth of LA Blue, and, it was just too much. And they overcame Connection. That being said, it's like everyone's worried, oh, my God, the LA Blue, they got a monopoly. It's unfair. They got all these conference players. Man, those guys got lucky. First of all, they got run ruled by Connection. I mean, thin blue line. No one's talking about the thin blue line game. Thin blue line had them beat. They had a walk in an elimination game. It was a walk off. Like it was a walk off walk. I think that LA Blue won with a walk off bases loaded walk against thin blue line. And then my understanding, I didn't see it, but against the Shamrocks Max Elite, I heard. I'm not sure about this. Maybe you guys can verify. Bases loaded with no outs, the Max Elite, and they needed 1 to tie and 2 to win, and they didn't score any runs. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but whatever the case is, it's clear that LA Blue is not like completely unbeatable, right? We've seen it. We've seen these teams touch upon like how close you can get to almost beating them. So I like the parity. As much as I think LA Blue is still the best team, man, I tell you what, on any given day, Max Elite, thin blue line, certainly the Connection. These teams can beat these guys. So there's a lot of parity in that majors division now that in past years we haven't seen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, they were super impressive. We played against them, and I think that was our first game, and holy smokes, man. Those dudes, man, they were just on automatic pilot. I mean,
you talking about the Blue, LA Blue?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're tough to beat, man. They're tough to beat.
Oh. Man, they look like they've been playing year round, like every weekend or something, man. They were just super relaxed, but they
that's
did
because they have just on different teams.
Right. So, I mean, honestly, that's not the whole intention of the World Series when we first created it in 2005 was so everyone plays with their team throughout the year, different tournaments, and they all come together with their team at the World Series and who's got the best team. The whole idea is not to create a team for one tournament, right? Like, hey, I've never met you before. I think that is the LA Blue team. Those guys are clearly teammates. They're close. I just think they can never get everybody together all at the same time because it's not like I don't know. It just seemed like, I mean, to watch those guys play and the harmony they have with each other was every bit as much as any other team. I just think the reason they didn't play as well this year is because they couldn't get all those guys at the same time in the field. So
they showed up in October. Yeah. I know that. I will, before we move on, we only got a few more things to talk about, but Joe, just for you, Javier posted this, Trini is the best. And Dan came back and said, Joe, you need more control of the board. He wants you to be in control of what comments are up there and what's not.
The problem is Trini gives me zero control over anything that's posted up there. I can't even look at the comments while I'm on this.
I watch the comments on my phone, Joe. So I'm looking.
Oh, that's how you do it.
I'm doing it on my phone. I'm reading the comments. Yeah.
Well. Then Dan said, Joe, you're the best. See,
thanks,
people
Dan.
take care of your feelings, Joe.
Right there. Code 3.
Well, and then Javier asked, Joe, where is the pumpkin? Well,
is he talking about my head?
Oh, well, Could be.
Javier's making fun of my head. I've never even met the kid.
Well, I will tell you this, Javier. See right there where my finger's at? That's the Waxahachie pumpkin. He's still around, man. Yeah. He's making it. He's starting to fade though. There's a part of him that's starting to implode. So we'll see how it goes.
Does Audrey get jealous of this pumpkin? I mean, I've never seen a relationship between a man and a pumpkin like you and this Waxahachie pumpkin.
I like the Waxahachie pumpkin, man. He's awesome. Hey, so we'll move on. Let's see. Mark Jackson says lots of teams which end up in silver don't care about the silver, so they leave. That being said, I vote to bring back Masters in Vegas. Oh, I love the Masters. I've got my fingers crossed, but I do understand, Jeff, also as a coordinator, it's difficult when you don't have as many teams showing up. You pencil them in, you got the fields paid for, you're working on everybody showing up, and then you don't get the here's a simple thing in business. You got to listen to the market. And if the market isn't telling you that that's needed, then, what can you do regardless of whether your heart's in it or not? If the market's not telling you they need it, then, you don't do it. And so, Mark, I think to your point, I want the Masters to be here, but I think, I don't know, Jeff, I don't mean to speak for you, but I know you'd have to really get like some serious people to say we're in and seriously in. And we're going to,
I would make everybody pay first and non-refundable. And we would have to do it on like Wednesday. You saw the schedule, right? You guys, unless you guys want to start starting at 5 a.m. and going to 2 a.m, you know what I mean? It's like, we would have to do it on Wednesday, and everyone would have to pay first. And like, hey, if you don't show up, then you're donating your money. But
Jeff, I'd have a team there.
Yeah, I know you would. So many guys show up on Wednesday anyway, but the problem is like same thing. It's like, all right, oh gosh, Monahan, blew his hamstring out on Wednesday. Now he can't play in the, in majors, right? Now you just let your team down. So I can't tell you how many guys were discouraged from playing in Masters, so they would drop out. So-and-so's not going to play because his team doesn't want him to get hurt. So,
and I think that was the whole reason you're trying to separate.
Right.
Why you're trying to separate it this past year from the World Series and move it out to California, and it just didn't work out.
God, I screwed up. Irvin just said they didn't play LA Blue. I don't know who some team had the bases loaded. I don't know if it's Connection or somebody. I thought it was your team, John, and they had the bases loaded and they didn't score a run with a runner on third with like whatever. So my bad. Like I said, I only see the games that are kind of in front of me and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anyway,
what I'll go on to is I did want to mention this, and that is with Wayne Spencer Jr., man. It was really cool. And this kind of plays off of this next post, Jeff and Joe. Jody says, FYI, Trini, JB, away from playing ball, here is why this is the best platform out there. Had info on a wanted fugitive in Vegas last year. Used PS.com to contact officers from Vegas. Collaborated, and my detectives went and got the fugitive. At the series, I played against the detective I contacted. He remembered my name from the phone call. It was great to talk to him about it in person. Love PS.com. Now, see, that right there is one of those posts, and I do get these, and Joe, I'm sure you get them also, that when your tournament's over, you get these emails, and people don't see them. You get text messages about the importance of the tournament that you throw, St. Louis Show Me Classic, Waxahachie, with our Keepers of the Peace, and then Jeff, of course, with the World Series. I love hearing these stories. And on top of that, you get things like this, man. You got Wayne Spencer Jr. that comes up to me at the opening ceremonies and says, hey, Trini, I want you to have this jersey, man. I won this jersey. This is the shirt that I wore when we won the World Series. And I want you to have it because I know how much you're going to appreciate that. This is his last year coming up in police softball. And he wanted me to have this jersey, man. And so what a wonderful thing, Jeff. And of course, Dell's not here to hear it. But of course, when we start talking about everybody wondering about the PS.com circuit, if they've never been a part. And I try my best to recruit teams, man. I got Texas teams, like I said. I mean, you see them showing up, I'm trying to get them there. And it's because of things like this, messages like this when it comes to connections, but also the things that happen in a sentimental part of things like this, So Wayne, I appreciate you, man. That was a huge thing for me, and it's just awesome, Jeff. It's awesome to see this kind of thing happen.
So I truly believe this. I'll put this up against anybody. Our police softball circuit is the best networking of any organization in law enforcement. Law enforcement. I don't care. Like these, you go to these like national conferences and you know, meet a guy, have a beer with them at dinners, exchange business cards, never see him again. We're in contact with each other all year round, every year. I can't tell you how, like, I just had a buddy, he's like, he was a cop, and he's like, hey, my son is into drugs. He's in some hotel in Dallas. He's holed up there. I need to go get him. He's overdosing on heroin. Do you know anybody in Dallas? So, yeah, I got a hold of Danny from the Outlaw or Lone Star. He's from Dallas. He went, you know, rescued the kid out of there. I mean, it's stuff like that. Like, if you were to just call Dallas PD and say, hey, I'm a police officer from Tustin, and they're, you know, you're going to be just on a list, right, of calls to go handle, right? Just legitimate contacts where, like, chiefs of police come up to me from all over saying, hey, do you have anybody you know in name the city, you know, St. Louis or something like that? As a matter of fact, I do. You know, it's incredible. It is incredible to search. Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool. Super cool. And then last but not least, we will move on to, let's see here. Mark Jackson says, make it Sunday. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
He's talking about Masters. He says, make Yeah. And we've done that before. We used to have it on Sunday, but then guys would pull the hamstring playing open. So now my Masters team's pulling out. So I agree. I mean, if we're going to do it, like maybe we can do it again in Vegas. But like I said, I'm taking everybody's money first. I'm not taking his word for it.
I completely understand that one and have no doubt.
Because I still got to rent those fields.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later on because the new season is going to come around and we're going to talk about tournaments. And I think it's important to maybe emphasize the importance. What is important to tournament directors? Because I don't think people quite understand what goes into putting on a tournament and the financial commitment, the commitment away from family. I mean, they get it, but I don't know if they really get it. And then ultimately you got volunteers coming out, you know, and you got to get people to show up for that, man. And you got to take care of your volunteers, you know, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to it. But anyway, all right, we'll move on to the 2022 format and dates. Do you have that?
So the format. So the dates are, what is that? The second weekend was that 7, 8, 9? Yeah,
6th through the 9th, I think is what.
Yeah, 6th through the 9th, right? Yeah. So it's saying it'll be majors will go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Gold will go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Majors will be the same thing. We'll do brackets of 4. We'll have, I don't know how many at-large berths. We'll have to judge it on what we see during the season, but we already know like some of the teams are going to be predetermined majors, and there'll be some people that have some at-large berths to win. Gold, I'm going to do, like I already talked about earlier, 3 round robin games. Probably top 3 go to gold because it's a bigger bracket, right? Bottom 1 goes to silver. There'll still be 10 teams in silver if we do it right, which is a good. And then it'll be double elimination for both, so it'll make silver a little more value, and hopefully it'll prevent those really good gold teams that happen to have a bad whatever weekend from dropping down into silver. And then, so we're going to the new ball. I think Trini, you might've used it in your tournament, maybe. Yeah. The Pro M ball. Yeah. So we got rid of our last of our classic M's at the World Series. Gold used Pro M the whole time in Vegas. I don't know if you guys even noticed the difference, but there's supposed to be very little difference. My understanding.
I was going to tell you real quick, Jeff, on that. And that is, during Frank's game, when we played Frank, we ended up going and buying some balls, right? I sent my
it was a mistake.
Friend over there. Hey, I was told that, it was maybe the nighttime air, the humidity was less, the balls fly better at night. I get that. And that might have been the case, but I could tell a difference, So
if you talk to Carlos Vega from Elite, the classic M, the old ball, is better than the new one, especially in cold weather. Now,
wow.
The benefit of the new one is it's supposed to be less, like it won't get as good in the cold weather, it won't be as bad in the hot weather. So that's the whole benefit of the new one. But according to Carlos, the classic M is like a more lively ball, unless it's really, really hot out, than the other ball's better. So long story short is the majors and mid-majors weren't supposed to be using any of the Pro M's. But what happened was I guess, Trini, you had maybe one of the kids come up.
Yeah.
And assumed that you were playing on a gold team, so he sold you the gold balls instead of the
All right, Co. Damn.
So I told Co, I go. So we were trying to figure. I want to know who sold, because there's only a few of us up there. So I'm grilling my wife, because me and my I'm like a fanatic about hey man, everything's got to be the same. It's
Yeah.
And I'm on my wife's because I didn't do it, I swear. And finally, Co goes, could have been me.
Dude, how do you think I felt in the middle of a game? We're sitting there, we're throwing in these balls, the pitcher's looking at it. And then I don't know who it was that came down. He's like, hey man, I got an issue with the balls. Like, all right, well, here they are. And he's like, yeah, man, you can't be using it. He's like, okay, well, I don't know. And I don't want to throw my young daughter's boyfriend under the bus, but I sent them to go get it. So come down here.
You were right. I mean, you wouldn't buy balls. The bottom line is, coach just assumed you were on a gold team. So
that's funny, man. But no, I didn't know if it was a difference or not. But
I will say that mine is, so according to Lowe's, and we buy the balls from Lowe's. He says the Classic M's better. He says, I guess it's I don't know. Joe would probably know more than me. I used to
the Pro-Am's better. You're saying the Pro-Am?
No, I'm telling you, the old ball's better. That's
the old ball's better. Okay,
I got you. The Classic M is 325 compression, and the Pro-Am's 300 compression. He says the difference is people like the tackiness of the cover of the Pro-Am, and also it's less likely to be impacted by the weather conditions. But at night, like in your situation, Trini, it was getting cooler. That Classic game, the old ball would have been according to Carlos Vega, would have been a better ball in those conditions. Now, if it's 110 out, you want the Pro-Am because it's more of an even ball, where it sounds like the Classic game might be hotter when it's cold and flatter when it's hot. So,
well, hey,
definitely the old ball was better.
There you go, Frank. I was actually at a disadvantage with my team, just so you know.
Right. Oh, it's Chris Uliberry's the one that would handle that. So Uli from our
dude, the guy came down and I thought I was being interrogated. I was like, hey man, I just bought these things, bro. I didn't I want my attorney. I want my lawyer right now.
Co's the guilty party on that. So whatever the case is, the good thing is it really that was the only game it impacted, and we made sure. And then later, this was pretty cool. Later, as we got to the major division championship games and whatnot, we told the teams, we're out of the Classic M balls. We'll sell you guys the Pro-Ams if you want them. And every team agreed, gentleman's agreement, we're just going to stay with the same ball we've been using all along. And both teams used the same balls.
That's what I would
want. Despite they had the opportunity to go buy the new ones, they all used the Classic M.
Yeah, that's what I would want, because I don't really get into it like that. So I wouldn't have known the difference, and I'd have said, nah, let's just keep it the way it is. And Jonathan,
I like that. Yeah. So
Jonathan, thanks for tuning in.
The next year, all Pro-Am. So the good thing is, the bad thing is they're not going to be as lively at night. But the good thing is they should be pretty consistent, day or night, heat, cold, stuff like that.
Copy that. Terry Dugan just joined us. What's up, Terry? We talked about you quite often.
Yeah, talking about his back.
Yes, man. Congratulations again, brother. That was awesome, man. Well, hey, I think that'll be wrapping it up now, man. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. I truly appreciate it. It's a great wrap up, and great job to everybody out there who helped make this happen. I see the girls out there. I see everybody that put the time into it. We got Big Tone, we got everybody, man. It was just really neat to be able to see that come together again this year. And for me personally, it was neat to be able to make it around again this year, to be able to go and to see everybody and enjoy the experience, man. Definitely is a highlight of my year. So congratulations, Jeff and the crew. And so, hey, if you don't mind, Jeff, sticking around just for a couple of minutes after we're done here.
No problem.
And appreciate you joining us again, brother.
You got it.
All right, man. Joe, another show.
Yep.
Great success. I appreciate you joining me again from Florida. Thank you so much. I know you didn't know that there's going to be an hour and 46 minutes, but I do appreciate you making it happen either way, okay?
No problem, man.
Stand by, brother. Be right with you. Hey, man, so this is Trinidad wrapping up this episode of the Police Softball Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget, if you don't mind, tune into our YouTube channel. That's where I really can use the help. If you're on Facebook, I get it, but see if you can do something subscribe to my Trinidad YouTube channel. Join there, watch the show there. I'd appreciate it. Comment, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I do truly appreciate you. All right. It's Trinidad signing off. Don't forget, man, I got your 6.